Audio article by the Common Constitutionalist entitled, Republicans Lead with the Mantra, Whatever is Easiest. Do not be fooled by the Republican or the White House spin that this budget agreement is anything but a total retreat and surrender to the minority party, the Democrats. But hey, fighting is hard. It's just easier to capitulate. I was originally going to express it as a Republican giveaway, but it isn't. You see, you have to first possess something in order to give it away, like one's principles or integrity. The Republicans possess neither. On his radio show, an angry Mark Levin exclaimed that the Dems passed all of Obamacare with a simple majority under reconciliation. Mark rhetorically asked how it is that the Democrats seem to always know how to play the rules in the House and Senate, use parliamentarian rules and procedures to advance their agenda, to get things done, and the Republicans don't seem to. Is the GOP just not as smart as Schumer, Pelosi, and the rest of the Mensa honorees in the Democrat Party? Of course not. The Democrats, for the most part, are believers. No, they don't really believe in standing up and fighting for the less fortunate. They believe in the leftist ideal of big government, authoritarian control, and spending. In other words, they are statists. Of course, they would never describe it as such, but this is what it boils down to. They seem to always get what they want because they don't compromise. And even if they appear to compromise, as in giving the president an additional $15 billion in defense spending and unpinning it from domestic matching, it's barely a compromise. Even Rush Limbaugh, who is a staunch Trump supporter, was confused and a bit perturbed during a radio interview with Vice President Mike Pence. Pence went on Rush's #1 radio program for one reason, damage control. And I'll guarantee you Rush didn't call him. He requested to appear. He went on only to attempt to spin this disaster into some kind of victory. He would have been better off avoiding the limelight. In my opinion, Pence embarrassed himself. Rush told the vice president that if he were the Democrats, he would give up $15 billion in additional defense spending all day long. It's, quote, a small price to pay for continuing to fund refugee settlements, continuing to fund Planned Parenthood, continuing to fund sanctuary cities, continuing to fund the EPA, and not build the wall, unquote. And that's just some of what the Dems got. But Pence just kept reverting to the talking point of defense spending and that this was a win, never answering Rush's other charges. And did you know that repealing Obamacare is no longer priority #1? Did you know that building the wall isn't either? I thought they were, but Pence said, quote, Rush, let me be clear. The #1 priority of President Trump is to rebuild our military, to restore the arsenal of democracy, unquote. Not that this isn't vitally important, but it is a definite departure from earlier promises, is it not? The bottom line is the difference between Democrats and Republicans. The Dems have a clear view of why government exists and how it should operate, and no matter how warped and unconstitutionally we know it to be, is of no concern to them. In other words, they have a set of core principles with which they will never compromise. And regardless of what we think of these principles, they are to be congratulated for not abandoning them. Too many Republicans have no set of core values or principles. As Rush has said numerous times, they simply strive to be in the majority in order to control the purse strings. But, as is plain, they can't or won't even do that. Now their core has become but one overarching principle or theme, whatever is easiest. I can't blame the president or vice president for the laziness, shiftlessness, and cowardice of the Republicans. I will, however, blame him for signing this debacle. The president says he wants to shut down the government. Okay, do it. Don't sign it and let it shut down, which, for the gazillionth time, is not a shutdown but barely a slowdown. And boy, am I tired of saying that. Thank you for listening.